I just remembered, I was reading an article last week. I think it was Lisbon, in Portugal, in the capital, and they decided to implement some changes due to their basically, apparently last year the rents in the city, in the capital, rose for about 37%, like something, if I remember correctly. So, huge bump. And mainly this is due to Airbnb and, similar sites where, people are people are rather leasing short term, where they can now cash in much more than long term for the people. And they have decided to limit a number of let's say permissions on how much how many, let's say, quota percentage of the whole apartment quantity, so I think they will limit the how many apartments can be leased, or they will be giving away the permissions for such enterprise. And I think this is the correct decision. We have, as I said several times before, we have similar problem in Slovenia. No apartments. Now the new government, new government, almost a year now, had promised to build, I think it's 10,000 new apartments per year. Ne, rekla je ne lizati. Rekla je ne lizati. Jaz sem pa sam vesel. Liza said, don't lick my ear. Or snout, or whatever it was. So yeah, they said before the elections how many new apartments they will build per year, every year in their mandate. And I think last month they clarified their statement that in the next 3 years, so until basically the last year of their mandate, they will build altogether 5,000 new apartments. I assume this will basically include all the projects that are already in development. In some stage of the project is already being worked on. And then from the last year of their mandate onwards, they are planning for 3,000 new apartments per year. So significantly lower number than previously promised to the voters. And they say, one of the problems, and I agree with this, is also that on paper we have a lot of empty apartments or real estate, apartments plus houses. But I think, the real problem is that people, are leasing or even subleasing such real estate. Greva tukaj Lizi, ne. Tukaj greva danes, she wants to go through the field, but no. Not today. You know, I think the real problem here is that a lot of this renting or leasing or subleasing is done, you know, on the gray or even black, you know, market. So nothing is registered, nothing is paid, you know, taxes and so forth. And this is, I think, the real problem. And I think that tukaj greva sem. Here you go, stubborn doggo. She wants to go to the field, but no, today we are going through the industrial zone. And I don't care. And now she's a little bit upset. So yeah, you know, I think they should increase the number of, you know, inspections, you know, or of course at first hire more inspectors, you know, just to go through all the apartment, you know, or let's say living real estate, to see what is what, you know, if it's really, you know, empty, or there are people living there, or there are people living there that are paying someone rent and this is not then declared, you know. This is a lot, you know, we have a lot of this going on, and I think this would be much better solution than, you know, losing let's say mental strength on, you know, trying to forcibly build up cities with newer and larger and I don't know what apartment complexes. You know, as I said before, here in Šiška they have built several, I think now more than 10, if not 20 such complexes were built, and I'm including, you know, row houses also in this, or even duplets, you know, where there is more than one apartment basically. And we have this in couple of years, you know, which, well, there was a very large upsurge in, you know, renovating or rebuilding or just building on previously undeveloped land. But at the same time, they didn't improve. Oh, it's windy. I think that you can hear. You know, at the same time, they didn't improve the infrastructure. No frequency of the buses wasn't increased, number of buses wasn't increased. You know, today when I went on back, you know, to home, to the house on a bus, and there was, you know, lady from Kamnik, you know, from the north of Slovenia, and was complaining how low the frequency of buses in our capital is, when in Kamnik she can get a bus every, you know, couple of minutes. Here she needed to wait 20 minutes, you know. So yeah, not to mention the whole saga regarding healthcare availability here. So yeah, and then parking and electricity demand and, you know, yada yada yada. Okay, let's end on this point.